What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my review of the Innova Gstar Wombat. This is a new mid-range disc by Innova, and they're really excellent Gstar plastic that I'm a big fan of. I wanted to check it out and figured I would post my review, let you guys know what I thought of it after testing it a bunch in the field and on a few rounds as well. Great disc. Digging it for sure. There's your stamp. It got a little bit messed up when I dyed this guy. It was pure yellow, like the bottom is here, with that nice pearl to it. There's your Gstar WB 175. But yeah, it was yellow, and then I wanted to put some orange on there because of the red stamp, and I wanted to make it kind of look like a fire type motif, but I forgot that the acetone in the dye kind of ate some of the stamp while I was just dyeing right over the top of it. But it doesn't really bother me too much. I may actually think about just taking the stamp off once I'm done with this review, but I wanted to make sure it was on there for the review for sure. So there's your numbers again, 5, 6, -1, 0, the 6 in glide. Definitely an interesting number there. This disc has a really great feel to it, for sure. I really like the Gstar plastic. It's easily my favorite plastic that Innova puts out. If I were to carry any Innova mold that was in this plastic, I would definitely keep it. It just has such a nice grippy feel to it. I like the kind of flexible, gummy nature to the plastic as well. I've always really liked that kind of feel. I just feel like I get a better grip on it. It depresses under the thumb. It feels really comfortable. And I just feel confident with it, and I had no issues with this thing slipping out of the grip. It's got a really nice feel and comfortable, smooth release, so I really like that. Definitely extremely interesting disc. Once I started looking at it, it's got a really unique shape to it. Let me see if I can get that in frame there. So it's kind of got like a little up swoop underneath on the underside there. It's got a bead on it too, a pretty sizable bead, which I think is pretty interesting as well. It feels good in the hand with that bead, and it has a nice release to it. But yeah, see how it's just got that really interesting shape. I don't recall other discs having terribly similar shape to this one. I got another mid-range here later on, just at a comparison, is a MVP Axis, but that's also pretty similar, like the shape of like a buzz, and you can see there's a big difference there between the two. Wombat's got a really unique shape to the profile, and again with that big bead in there, it feels really good in the hand. It's always difficult to show you guys my grip, but it feels good in the hand, and I just like the way that bead feels on the release. It kind of like rips off that last digit and feels like it's a nice solid release. So in flight with this thing, immediately upon testing it, the 6 for glide is hugely apparent. I was throwing this thing in some tailwinds, and it goes it just glides forever. Also in low wind situations, it glides really well. I can throw it about as far as I can throw a driver most of the time in my testing. Not like one of my long drivers, but what was I like? I threw like a volt or something like that, and then I could throw this thing almost as far, which was kind of crazy, just based on that really strong glide to it. On a good pole, I'm sure I could always throw a driver farther than this thing, but the moral of the story is it definitely has big distance potential and a ton of glide. That's just really, really nice. I like it a lot for like hyzer flips that just pop up and hold a dead straight line for a long way, and just a tiny little soft fade at the end, or not, or just go dead straight all the way. This thing will also hold pretty much whatever line. If you throw it on an anhyzer, it'll hold it pretty easy. It's just a very neutral disc. Throw it pretty flat. It definitely has a tendency to want to go right for me, and you guys know I don't have a lot of power. I'm also not really all that great throwing a perfectly flat shot. I tend to throw almost everything on some degree of a hyzer line when I'm throwing. It's just more comfortable for me to pull through on that hyzer and release clean and get a good snap on it that way. So for me, I was just throwing this thing like a frozen rope, laser beam, hyzer flipping it straight down the line with great glide, and I'm really enjoying it. So actually, it's been a long time since I've said this about an Innova disc, but this thing is in the bag. I definitely bagged it. I'm going to keep it for a while. I just like how dead straight it is, that huge glide. It does really well in a tailwind, or my other principal mid-range, which is the MVP Axis. For some reason, I don't find the gyro discs to fly all that well in the tailwind for some reason. Just this, I don't really feel like I hear anybody else mentioning that when they talk about MVP. And as much as I love and support MVP, I throw a ton of their plastic. I just never feel like they do all that well in the tailwind. I always feel like I get better results with just standard plastic. So this thing would probably be my go-to tailwind mid-range. Also, just flies great. Has a really great feel. It's just easy to throw it dead straight without a lot of fade, or almost no fade really. Where the Axis, you can get it to go perfectly straight without fade, but it generally likes to have that little bit of finish at the end, where the Wombat just holds a dead straight line. So it's almost like kind of like a putter type flight with much more distance potential is what I'm seeing from it. So that's my review on the Innova Gstar Wombat. Definitely an interesting disc. I also think this would be a great disc for a beginner. You know, say you just want to pick up like one disc to get out there and learn how to play. I think the Wombat would be an excellent choice for that, because that neutral flight path will let you see what lines you're releasing the disc on. It'll also have that nice glide and just a very easy to throw kind of straight flying feel. So thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.